Hey,
Hey, CA
CA
and
and family.
family, what's up?
What it
So
do?
today we got Brock's corn on the cob and some box mac and cheese,
What type of Brock's?
cheddar cheese Brock's,
Cheddar chicken, cheddar cheese.
chicken cheddar cheese Brock's. Yep.
Yes.
So baby gonna take us in the prayer and we'll tell y'all what we're talking about today, right?
Yeah. Lord, thank you for this food. Thank you for blessing this family with the opportunity to eat. And I pray for those that don't have everything or things that's going on. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. All right. So today we doing a really touchy topic. We are talking about domestic violence. So um to start off, a little background. Charles here has domestic on his background before we talk about it. So it's kind of like a sensitive, but it's an important topic to talk about in relationships. So, would you like to start off with anything like your background with domestic violence and what have you learned from it?
Well, I feel like domestic violence could be like a family thing that hinders people or follow you from family. I have uncles that was in domestic violent cases. And I feel like it trickled all the way down to some of me, my cousins, my family, and my peers as well. And domestic violence is one of those things that could be very toxic and deadly.
Yeah. Well, if y'all don't know, over 5,000 women and men die every year, and over I forgot how many I think like 50,000 experience domestic violence, and I say women and men because women can be abusers as well. They just don't get us trouble in trouble as much as men, but they definitely.
Unfortunately, we live in Indiana, and Indiana is one of those states where you can't even engage an argument with a female because it's a woman's state, believe it or not. So even if they get a complaint about threatening or intimidation, you will actually get locked up. I'm actually in these classes called BIT right now, serving time for that and a year of probation as well. And that was one of my requirements that I had to complete for my probation as well. And that's actually, I'm learning how to be better and I'm learning how to walk away from certain situations because once again, it could be deadly and it could be toxic.
Yeah. So today, like I said, this is a serious topic. So we already said we didn't want to script anything. We was just here to ask each other questions. And to I don't know, put it not put. I'm not gonna put Charles in the hot seat, but we are. He has taken accountability, and we just gonna get into it. So, did you think that once I found out about your domestic violence case, when you had a warrant that I was gonna leave?
Honestly, not really, because I was telling you the truth about it. And I stood truthful about the whole situation because I ain't have nothing to hide. And I don't have nothing to hide. If somebody don't accept me for who I am, I really
Well,
don't
that's not who
care.
you are, though.
No, I mean, it's a decision that I made.
Right.
You know, it's not who I am, but at that time, it who I was and where I was coming from. So everybody make mistakes. Everybody make bad choices or bad decisions. So it's all about how you handle it and what you're going to do about it at the end of the day. And I feel like it made me a better person of learning how to control my anger and learning how to walk away from situations when I don't get my way or he or she don't get their way.
Yeah. Um. Um. In the moment where you put your hands on your significant other at the time, did you feel? What were your feelings afterwards?
I shouldn't have done it. It was not worth it.
Yeah.
That's what it really was. Like it's really not worth it. You can love somebody so much, but putting your hands on it don't change that it actually happened. And I felt like I was breaking the lack of trust for my family, my peers, and my children because I had children with that woman as well. So, and I feel like it's not cool to do. I felt weak about it. I felt like I couldn't look myself in the mirror. And I actually went through a whole situation of being in the dark, not having things, and trying to get my life together. I felt dead after I did it. Like I felt like something was missing within me. So yeah.
Yeah. Um, with growing up watching, I'm gonna tell the truth about some things. Growing up with watching domestic violence, whether it was verbal, whether it was a female doing it to a male. At first, I thought it was okay when I seen. I always knew that it wasn't okay for a man to hit a woman, but I didn't know it wasn't okay for a woman to hit a man. You get what I'm saying? But I was taught too. You put your hands on a man, you better be ready for what's coming afterward. But at the same time, it's like, if we got to put our hands on each other, we shouldn't be together. You know what I mean? And verbal abuse is not okay. That's another form of domestic violence. Verbal abuse is not okay, or physical violence. When we first started dating, I was making breakfast and we was getting to know each other. And I asked him, like, I don't know what made me ask. I never asked this in previous relationships or dating. I turned around out of nowhere and I looked him dead in his face. I said, "Have you ever hit a woman?" I don't know what made me ask him, like, "Have you ever hit?" And he was like, it looked like he had like a scared face. He like, "Yeah." And he like, "But I wouldn't do that, like, more." Like, you could see he was regretful, but I still kept my eye open. Like, if he have a blow up, I'd be like, I'm putting my guard up. I'm not playing. Like, we not, but we in a better headspace. But what was your first witness of domestic violence? Like, you don't have to say names, or you don't have to.
Seeing one of my uncles beat up his significant other and throw her in the trunk and stuff like that. So that was my first time actually seeing domestic violence. For those that don't know me, I grew up in a household full of domestic violence. Domestic violence is very toxic and passed down from generations to generations, and that's what I'm learning in big and what I have learned in big.
Mm,
Yeah, domestic violence can pass down. It does. You know, you see it in the household before you know you do it. And it's actually a cycle that I want to break chain of, because I don't want my kids doing it and I don't want my sons and daughters doing it, because that's not the way to go.
right. How would you feel if one of your children experienced it, or they were the person doing it? What's the advice you would give them?
That would be kind of tricky. I would be like, just find a different partner, find something else. Don't put yourself through that, and love yourself
Yeah.
would be the message I would preach to anybody. I would preach that message to anybody. Like, hey, love yourself, and that's the message that I'm preaching. Love yourself, take care of yourself, and don't settle for nobody putting their hands on you. Don't even settle for it. How can I say this? Don't settle for it at all. Like you said,
Yeah.
verbal is really where it starts at, because
Mm-hmm.
you're allowing somebody to talk to you and say different things to you and break your character, or break you down. And when you allowing a person to break you down like that, it could be frustrating. And before you know it, 1 second everything changed and somebody is dead.
In that relationship where you display domestic violence, were you being verbally and physically abused first? Were you being hit on first, like
Yeah,
in the
yeah,
relationship?
I definitely was being hit on, whether if it was like a serious thing or whether if it was just a playful thing. I didn't know what was playful. I didn't know what was serious, but the lady that I was with, she was putting her hands on me at times when she got mad too and was serious.
Yeah.
So, and I really got tired of that. I knew that it's something that I kind of knew that it was gonna happen if I stayed, but I stayed because I was blinded by the love. So I ain't know how to just walk away or turn the cheek. It was something that I actually wanted to put myself through. That's why I went through it.
Mm. So that go a message right there. You put yourself through what you want to put yourself through.
Yeah, truth.
But
Yeah,
once you put yourself through what you want to put yourself through, you better be ready for the consequences.
yeah.
Yeah. So um I chose to do domestic. I told him today we should do a segment on domestic violence, because I feel like with these new YouTube artists, I didn't get to show him, but it's different YouTube artists where they display perfect relationships and then boom and pop out. Oh, he's beating on me. Oh, he's doing this. Leave. Like, that's my thing. Like, and it's a thing where it shouldn't be done both ways. If hands got to be thrown, I got to put my hands on you. I got to do that. We're not doing it.
And what I learned is it's also easier to walk away because now you go through this trouble, you get going through paying this money and different things, and you look at it like, hey, this is I need this money ain't everything, but I'm in a type situation where I'm paying for something or paying for a mistake that I made 4 years ago.
Yeah.
So I look at it like, man, that was not worth it. Every day I look at it like that's not worth it. And also, no matter how the relationship get repaired, it's still going to be in back of he or she head, especially her head, that he hit me. So it's gonna always be that person on edge, just like she told you she on edge if we get in the slightest argument.
Yeah, because and it's not judging nobody on their past. Like we said in our last video, we have had toxic moments in the beginning, in the middle, and I'm gonna admit I have like tried to put my hands on Charles before, and it was things like what he'll blow up. So I feel like, and it's kind of like a thing from my mama too. By the way, shout out mommy for these brocks because mama taught us how to make brocks in the oven over the phone. But I noticed it's like he said, a family dynamic thing. Like, it's no secret that my granddad used to be my grandma for years, right. And I used to glorify their relationship because I'm like, they was together for 50 some years, like, and people look at how long people been together, but what if they endure to be together that long? So our granddad used to beat on my grandma. I never seen him physically hit her, but my mama never seen it all. So what the trauma that trickled down to my mom is she feel like once you raise your voice at her, and the same thing trickled down to me. Once you raise your voice at me, once you get to slamming stuff and doing that, now I think you're gonna hit me, so I'm gonna hit you first.
And that's actually a charge.
Yeah.
For those that don't know, in Indiana, that's intimidation. If you raise your voice or if you make a threat that you're going to do something. In most cases, in some cases, that people will make threats and they will wish they never made those threats and things happen that fast because you got to take a person upon their word.
Yeah.
Especially if they say they're going to kill you, if they're going to harm you and hit you.
Yeah.
It's watch what you say when you angry and take control of the anger. And that's what I learned in bit.
Yeah. And I had told Charles in the beginning, I don't like the word bitch. I don't like being called out my name. If we into it, we should be able to talk about it like adults because that's a trigger for me. But your trigger shouldn't be a reason why you putting your hands on nobody. And I have done it before, and I have apologized, but it's never okay. Like if it was a long time ago. Like how old was Kobe? Like probably like 2 months, maybe. And we had a disagreement. And when he used to get upset, like he'd throw something or slam something.
And in my head, quick to leave it alone though. Like, hey man, if this happened, it's over with.
Like, what you mean?
Like, then when that whole situation goes, then I just wanted to be done with it.
Walk
away from it.
I mean, well, not really because we were still arguing. Like, it was like you was still like kind of like flipping stuff, and like every time you flip stuff, I'm like, now I'm gonna hit you again. Like we gonna, and it was like you look back and you be like, well, you didn't make the situation better because he could have came and cleaned that up or something like that, So I just feel like that's why I disagree. Like we both didn't leave it alone. Like that same night, it was still text messages had. It was still, stuff that went on. But after that,
in my mind, when it happened, I felt like this is the last straw, and I don't want to be in an abusive relationship, and I don't want to put my hands on her. So if it was anything or something that was to continue to what happened, that I would actually walk away, and I would want her to go her own separate way. Because I wouldn't want to put that on my worst enemy, and I wouldn't want to put her on that because mine is already out there in the universe and it's out there now. So it looks like okay, yeah, he's a domestic guy. And once again, in my family, when I was raised on my mother's side and my mother household, and like I said, older uncles and cousins, seeing them do that, it was repetitive. It wasn't just a one-time situation thing. It was a repetitive thing that was happening. So it was part of trauma, my childhood trauma at least.
Excuse me. And trauma can go different ways. Like I tell him, like, newsflash, we do not do it no more with yelling, screaming, arguing. We go out neutral corners. We come back and talk about it. Either he apologized or I apologize. But when that situation happened, it was like a trigger for me because I felt like he was slamming. He was doing So I'm like, okay, if he doing this, like, that mean next he gonna hit me. So why might as well start the fight? But you can't judge nobody on their past, and they never showed you that. He never put his hands on me first. Never put his hands on me at all. So it was like that was a weak moment in our relationship, but hasn't went there again ever. Cycles. No. It's okay to break. Like, I remember I cried to Charles and told him, like, I really don't want my son to be my son. That was before I was pregnant with my daughter. I don't want him to be in the household with screaming and yelling, because I can remember, like, literally, and then like people would be like, "Oh, you overreacting," but they was used to trauma. I was used to it, but I didn't know nothing about anxiety. So when it used to happen, when my granddaddy would walk up on my grandma, or they had told us the stories, like, he did this, he sliced her breast open, he broke her arm, he did this, that, and the third. It would be like, is he gonna do this in front of us? Like, we haven't seen him do it. Like, I seen him curse or grab her forehead or do something like that, but I never physically seen him like hit her. Most domestic violence that I ever seen, somebody probably be mad about this, but is my mom and her boyfriend, and it wasn't his part. He'll make her mad, but she would hit. You know what I mean? So still probably hit. I don't know, because I don't live in a household, but it's like with uh my granddad, as soon as it happened, I'll run to the bathroom. And I know how it feels, a child to be shaking, like, and you can't calm down. So that's why we both had to really control ourselves, because I'm like, we can't be together if this is going to, because my baby, I don't want him to have anxiety. And I'm not saying it couldn't pass down.
Yes.
But anxiety is a real, like, well, if we argue or we raise, Kobe already don't like loud noises. He don't like when a dog bark. He don't like if he's sleepy.
If you louder than him.
If you louder than him, he
definitely don't like that.
So imagine if we arguing in front of him, or we doing that in front of them. That's enough to turn the child a whole nother different way.
Yeah.
So we came to a mutual agreement, like, we not doing it. We felt like he getting too loud, or we like neutral corners. You go this way, I go this way. Who held you most accountable when you did that, or didn't nobody hold you accountable
for my domestic situations?
Yeah. Who held you accountable that told you?
Did nobody really hold me accountable, because once again, it was something that was in my household. Did nobody stop and tell me, "Hey, you can't hit this woman"? It was something that I had to learn the hard way, and that's why I'm in the situation that I am now. I didn't have nobody to tell me that. That's why having a father and a mother in the household that's on the same page is critical, because I mean, how will my son know? How will my daughter know? How would anybody know if they, never went through it? And not only if they never went through it, but if they don't have nobody to talk to them about going through it.
Yeah. Well, do you feel like
and on her side, excuse me, but on her side, the lady that I hit, on her side, domestic violence was part of her household too as well.
Yeah, so it could trickle down. It could and
I'm sure she didn't have nobody to talk to her about it.
Yeah. Absolutely.
It goes both ways. It just don't go one way. That's the thing about why domestic violence can be deadly and toxic, because don't know, you know what I'm saying? Like, it goes both ways. Don't nobody really talk about it, sweep under the rug, and really don't address it until somebody lose their life, or until it's too late.
And then everybody like, oh, well, I should have said this. I should have did this.
Or I could have did.
Yeah.
Or, yeah.
It's no could have, would have.
Going through it and actually hearing his story about how he dealt with it and what he's dealing with and what he's dealing with now. Maybe, for instance, I go to a class and, some of this is confidential, so I can't say names. And I'm not going to say names, but if it's a situation, I'm talking to one of these guys in class and they saying, well, we can't get our kids because we feel like Indiana is a woman's state. How many of us in this class feel like, how many of us in the class feel like that? 98 to 95% of us. So I'm at the right place. Mm-hmm. There's probably one person in there that actually seeing his kids right now.
Right.
Because once DCS get involved, and once the police get involved, once a judge and a lawyer get involved, it's really hard for them to favor the man in the household, especially in Indiana. And I don't want to just say it like it's just the state, but look at the numbers. Look at the numbers. Look at the numbers. If you think, or if you disagree with that.
Is there anything you want to ask me?
Yeah, I do. Was you scared when you actually seen your grandfather hitting or getting loud or belligerent with your grandmother? Was you actually scared, or how did you feel about it? What did you want to do?
Um. Okay. I never actually seen him hit my grandma with closed fists. But we just heard all the stories as kids. Like he did this to her. Like I said, he did that to her. He did this. But we got to see a lot of the verbal abuse, and even though it was hard for her, it was actually a blessing for me to see because I knew as I got older what I didn't want in a relationship. I knew I didn't want to be called out my name. Like that's a strong thing of mine. Like even when Charles share Facebook posts, I'm like, no, I don't like being called my bitch. You know what I mean? Or anything like that. Or the verbal abuse would get so bad and so loud where they arguing. Well, like he'll walk up and he'll just grab her forehead or something like that. But we never like he in front of me. I never seen him like hit her with closed fists. But that's why I say verbal abuse is a lot close to domestic because it's like you replay stuff in your head. Like it's so many things I could replay about arguments
It's the start.
and stuff like that. Yeah, and it's a finish too.
That's the gateway.
Yeah, it's a start and it's a finish because once you belittle somebody so much, and I watched my grandma abuse alcohol my whole life up until a year or two before she passed, my whole entire life. Like, and she's not the only woman who went through that. A lot of women that couldn't go to work and stuff like that when they didn't have a workers' rights and all that, they went through that. So it's like I don't know. I was terrified. Like, and then sometimes like the day after or something, I couldn't look at him the same. Like, I remember one time he came in drunk and he was walking up on her, and I was pulling on his suspender, and like the suspender came up in the back, like like it broke kind of, and he turned around. And I thought, once again, I never seen him physically like hit my grandma, but for some reason I thought he was gonna hit me. I took off to the bathroom and I sat on the toilet. Or when they do a thing where all as a family they get together, and every time they drink, the whole family get into it. So it's like it's scary all the way around because you
Yeah.
never know what's going. I still don't like big events like that because I never know what's gonna pop off. Who gonna say something wrong? Who gonna
So
you know?
and I got another question before you finish what you're saying to add on to this. Do you think or do you know substance play a part in it?
Oh yeah,
Preferably
um,
alcohol or
yeah, absolutely, especially alcohol. Especially alcohol.
I agree 100%.
The Bible I just read. We just read a Proverbs 23. And I don't got the verses. I'm not gonna pull them out. I ain't gonna go Bible on y'all, but it speak about alcohol, and a lot of times it play a big part because alcohol got a lot of spirits in them. Like we should know, we just got pregnant with another baby off of alcohol,
Blaming on alcohol.
but alcohol play a big role in everything that go on in white households. But I can speak for black households because that's when the kids are in the room together because the adults out there getting drunk, and what they doing, they're in the room experimenting on each other. You know what I mean? What else going on? We in the room playing stuff that we shouldn't play and stuff like that. So
Preach.
alcohol,
Don't act like y'all ain't been through it. Preach.
yeah, like it. It's like with alcohol, I'm not the type of person to get sloppy drunk. I probably only been sloppy drunk like twice, twice that I can remember. I have abused other substances, but alcohol is not one that I can super duper abuse because I don't know. It's either I have flashbacks. The next day I have anxiety attacks, or it's like I don't know how to explain it.
You know what I don't like about alcohol is about actually the hangover and the head spinning thing. I always felt like because I got blasted one time with my older cousin, and we was in high school. I couldn't have been no more than probably no older than maybe 16, and I had got super blasted off some ENJ. I'm not some ENJ, yes, some ENJ. VOSOP.
Do you love me?
And my head was just spinning around like I was just about to die or pass out, and I laid down literally for maybe like an hour and a half, and it still was just like spinning around, and it's like I couldn't do nothing but lay on my back, and my head just got to spinning around, and I was like, man, you know what? I don't like this feeling, so my go-to substance was always like marijuana.
Yeah.
You couldn't do the liquor.
And I don't know, alcohol do play a big part, and I'm not gonna expose a lot of things I've seen or a lot of stuff that happened with alcohol, but it do play a big part in domestic violence in the household, and that's actually a statistic. You can look it up.
You know what I feel like me and you got in common is seeing the thing with the grandmother and the grandfather. Actually seeing it too. I had to actually think about this when you got to talking. It actually did start with my grandfather and my
Yeah,
grandmother.
and
And then
it
it
trickles
trickled down
down.
to the uncles, and then it
It
trickled
trickles down
down
to
to
the
the
cousins.
cousins, and
Yeah,
then me, of course, and then this is where we will stop the cycle because of it don't need to be done, but I can at least talk to my kids and let them know what's at stake,
yeah.
so they can know about
And what's the
what's on the other
signs?
side.
Yeah,
What's on the other side? I mean, you know, the lesson of being a teacher in life is the best experience. You know what I'm saying? So you know, actually, you know, going through the lesson and learning, okay, this is the negative side and this is the hard way. And sometimes it's not good to learn things the hard way. You should always want to take the easier route.
do you feel like in the beginning, because of past experiences, that you were verbally abusive to me?
Not really. I mean, like I feel like I have been verbal abusive to you, and we have been verbal abuse to each other, just like we said at the beginning of the segment. But it's about learning how to deal with it and
Doing it no more.
not doing no, just walking away simply, or just not, you know, being able to calm, breathe, and relax, and being able to talk to each other and use our words after it happens.
Yeah,
That's the most part, because it only take a second to flip out and wig out and not think straight, and before you know it, one of us is dead.
yeah,
So I feel like it's something that in a lot of households, married couples or regular couples, it's just about how you deal with it and how you cope with it, and how you and your partner, you know, handle it. Because it's gonna be there. You know, those demons is always gonna try to attack you,
yeah.
but you can't let them attack you, because one split second of your life you can lose it all.
Oh,
And when I think about it, it's like, okay, it was so petty, it was so stupid to what we was arguing about anyways. Probably arguing about a sock in the drawer that I could have moved, or arguing about cleaning up or something, or moving, or cooking, or me and you cooking, or something real stupid. It don't be about nothing real serious.
yeah,
And that's how you know that you know, take a second to think about it. Why is we arguing anyway?
yeah.
9 times out of 10 over something
Something stupid.
stupid.
Yeah,
So why take my significant other life, or let her take my life because we arguing over something stupid?
stupid. Instead of walking away.
Right.
Yeah.
Or throwing on it. You know, we say, hey, I apologize. You know, ain't no need to over talk me, or ain't no need to force the situation and make it worse than what it is, because I know I was wrong and you knew you was wrong.
Yeah. And it's crazy because people ask me, like, when they found out Jamal, Charles, I'm talking about Jamal, I don't even know what that is. But when people say, because I was mixing two words together, but when they ask me, like, why would I be with Charles and he got a domestic, or is it any signs, is it any, yeah, he had some anger issues when we got together, but he never gave me the, you know what I mean. But also, I was pregnant when I found out about the warrant in the beginning. And it was like, because I think your mom called, right?
Yes.
And she was like, the people showed us. So I'm like, you got a what? Like, you know what I mean? Like, a warrant for this? Like, okay, I know you told me, so I know you told me about it, but it was like,
You swear I had a warrant for murder.
yeah, and I felt like, and domestic violence is close to murder, so, well, I was surprised. I thought he was gonna get like I thought he was gonna get like some time in there, and whatever time he got, I couldn't have been mad because first of all, that's the battle that I chose. That's the person who I got pregnant by. Second of all, it was like he's being held accountable. You know what I mean? Even with him going through probation, I don't be mad about his fees or what come out of his check or anything like that, because he be mad. But at the same time, that you play the play, you lay the lay, you did what you did. Now serve your time. You did the crime, do the time. So it was like I had went to a court date, and the court date because they came. You want to tell them how they came to the house? We got to, babe. Come on, let me tell them.
You tell them.
So first of all, I still got PTSD from watching Power shows. Let me tell you, that 50 Cent.
I got nightmares. I had nightmares about it.
First of all,
nightmares about it.
We sitting there, we all cuddled up, you know. He like, I'm finna go get some candy. That's his favorite thing. I'm finna go get some candy from. Where did you go? You went down the street to Toke Smoke.
Yeah.
I'm finna go get some candy. I'll be back. So he come back from the store from getting some candy. We laying down in the bed. Hell, knock at the door. So remind you, they know his OG address. They don't know my address. So I'm like, I'm not thinking they'll come here. Like, you know, they was gonna come now. So it wasn't even that I was hiding him with a warrant. I was telling him to turn yourself in. Like, turn yourself in. Like, if you turn yourself in, it's how many years ago? They finna throw this shit out the window, gang. Like, just do it. Just go turn yourself in. He letting people throw him off. I ain't gonna say who. He letting people throw him off. See, I'm trying to get you a lawyer. Charles, go turn yourself in, bro. Like, it ain't even that deep. Like, I'm looking on my case, it ain't even that deep. Just go turn yourself in. So I'm sitting out here, doom at the door. So I'm pregnant. Remind you, I'm like, how many months was I? I was like 6, 7 months. I was around this time. Yeah, it was. It was on my brother's birthday that this happened last year. So I'm like. Charles go to the door. I'm like, if it's the neighbor, just tell her I'm asleep. Like, cause she was just come knock on my door and talk my ears off. So he looked through the peephole. He come in the room. He come in the room like a mouse. Like he like, oh, it's the police. So I'm like, what? So I go to the door. I'm like, who is it? So they like, Akira, open up. So I'm like, Akira, why they said? So now I'm thinking I did something. I'm like, oh, they here for me.
Yeah. So
I open the door. They're like, we need to speak to Charles Smallwood. So I'm like, he not here. I try to play the role like he not here. So they like, yes, he is. We know he's in there. If we have to come in there, you're going with us too. So I'm like, so he talking to me. Some telling me to look behind. It's an officer crawling down on my balcony. So I'm like, what the world? So then he sliding my. Now, first of all, that's his fault because he was smoking at the time and he didn't lock back the balcony.
Which is crazy is before she finished this, with the officer being behind the house, my main idea or that I was thinking about was running again out of there because I hate jail. So I see him creep up, and I was inside of the closet in the other room.
And he seen you through the closet to the window.
He see me?
You was peeking through you was in the closet peeking, trying to talk to me, and he was at that window looking. We was in another apartment.
I didn't know he seen me. He told you he seen me?
He said that when he walked in the door. I seen you trying to hide in the closet. He's like, you know you have a warrant for your arrest. He like, we told your mom. Then they like, we told your mom we was going to get you. Oh, dang. So I'm like, so they like, Charles come step out because they telling me like, you get your apartment took, shit like that. So I'm like, he come step out. As soon as they handcuff my breakdown because I'm pregnant, I'm like, oh my God, I'm finna be baby daddy. Listen, like, ain't nobody finna be this guy. So I'm like,
let me smoke a cigarette.
They asked him like, he like, can I smoke a cigarette? That's how you know he had it bad with the cigarettes. Apply for quick. But he like,
actually let me smoke one.
One officer was being a dick though. He was like, no. Like he said no at first. Remember that officer that was like being a dick at first? He like, no. So I'm like, I'm standing there. So I call his OG. I'm like, they say you knew. Like they said they told your mom. She like, ain't nobody talk to me. Ain't nobody talk to me. So I'm like, nah. Like I was heated.
Which is I didn't understand about the whole situation when they said that they talked to my mom about it. That they was going to catch me. How did she not know?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Oh, you ain't call her.
Come to her house to begin with because at this time.
Somebody dropped that dime.
My name is not on her lease at the time. Anything or any type of information. The only thing I can think about is one time when I was having a panic attack and we called the ambulance to her house. To what hospital did we go to? St. Joe Hospital, and they took me to St. Joe Hospital from the carrier's house. That's the only thing I could think of, but. I mean, I wouldn't think they would want me that bad for a domestic case, and it's not even a felony. So I wouldn't think that they was actually like, "Hey, let's look at this guy activity."
Somebody dropped that dime, gang.
Might have to drop a dime on them niggas.
Yeah, well, I think somebody. It's not, some domestic cases is felonies and shit. it was two misdemeanors. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? So it's like, come on, man.
And then I told him it was gonna be work. My thing is, if he would have turned himself in, and first of all, this man called them when the warrant people first came to his OG house. He called them and said, "Do I have a warrant?" They said, "Yeah, just come turn yourself in. You'll be right out." Da 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 da. He listening to other people. I'm not gonna turn myself in. I'm not. So months go past. They letting him work at everything. They came to his old. They told him they came to his old job and everything.
When I was in the car, they was like, "Yeah, we came to the old job, which was Hooters," and I'm like, "They came to my." Did nobody even notify me there because I knew a couple of people there, but hell, they didn't even like me anyways. They was waiting for me to quit anyway. So there's like, then nobody even notified me. He's like, "Yeah, I came there," and whatever the case may be. Now the only thing I could think about was they listening to my music or something?
No.
I was just freaked out about it. You know, yeah, I'm like, I had to throw that in there.
No.
But no, I was just freaked out about it because I'm like, okay, well, I would know they know for my social security or whatever case, my bank statements or whatever. But if they went to Hooters, it's like, man, they was really looking for me. Like I was like on America's
First of all,
Most
because they get
Wanted or
mad when they
something,
gotta
like
search
America's
you.
Most Wanted.
But this is the point I was getting to. It was certain things that I didn't know about the case, and I felt like he didn't tell me because either he was worried or he didn't tell me like the full scoop. You know what I mean? So I kind of like, I wrote the judge a letter, like, like this happened these many years ago, like, and even my cousins could tell you I was going like rapid because I'm like, I feel like that's when we had really started like getting close, getting along. You know what I mean? Like in a way. So I'm like, I wrote the judge a letter, like, we had started church, we had started going to Cornerstone, shout out Cornerstone, gang, but we had started going to Cornerstone. I wrote them a letter, and the judge like looked over the letter or whatever like that before court, and he was like, "Yeah, I understand that bit, but we are gonna put him on $1,000 bond." He's no, actually, what's 10%? It was $10,000 or 10%. So I'm like,
which is 1,000.
Yeah.
Right.
So they was like, because we had to look for him so long, repeat that they had to look. He would have probably got not even had to pay the 1,000 or been on GPS or do this long probation.
Thank God I had some money saved up.
So we did the but he drew blood from the victim. So I'm like, blood, like, you know what I mean? Like, this is some serious stuff. Like, no.
Still only a misdemeanor.
Yeah, I know. It was still only a misdemeanor, but it was like, I could tell he get like, I'm not laughing about the situation. I'm laughing because I laugh when I get nervous, but I'm sitting there and I'm like, I had to think like, is this the battle you want to fight? Is this the person you gonna want to be with for the rest of your life? Is it? But I had to see that, God did a lot of different things with people in the Bible. He turned Saul into Paul, or there was Paul and Saul. He did a lot for alcoholics in the Bible. He did a lot for different people. And I'm like, if he don't show me this person, if he don't put his hands on me, I'm going to give him a chance. And that's something that I'm going to say dread lightly if you ever do with somebody with a past like that.
And I hate being in jail, y'all. I really do. So, the county jail now, when I went, oh my God, the food was so awful. It always been awful, but it was awful. Awful-ish, if that's a word, which is, I don't know if it is, but man.
Awful-ish is crazy. What grade you in?
No, but it was awful. And I did not really like the food at all. And it was like cold in there, like very cold in there, and the covers was thin as hell. So it was one of those things where when I was in there, all I could think about is getting another chance at life and improving myself. And sure enough, I'm here today. But it was one of my motivations. It is one of my motivations. Sometimes I go visit my mother, and we ride past it, and all I could think about is me being in there and not wanting to be in there.
Yeah.
And like, man, it ain't
worth
being. It's not worth being in there. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not worth being in jail. And I use that to feed off that because I know how easy it is to get in trouble, but it's hard to stay out. My mom used to always preach that to me. It's easy to get in trouble, but it's hard to stay out.
Yeah, that's a good. I ain't never heard that.
It's hard to stay out.
But it's like too. Another thing is it's like, I don't know how to explain it. Like, it's an irony that it's crazy that I always like. I don't like people that if you ever did it, you can't speak to me. If you ever put your hand, because of my granddaddy did not get into a relationship. And then it's like I experience a different side of a person, and it be like it's not who they are, it's what they just went through. You know what I mean? So
and where they going?
And I could see if he was a person that never took full accountability. You got to watch out for people that never take full accountability. Like he'd be like, but it was her fault because she did this or she did that. Yeah, the situation was hectic, and we're not gonna get into the situation.
But I feel like once again, like how we started this segment, I feel like it was something that I put myself through because I allowed it. You see what I'm saying? So it really started with me. If I would have poured myself out of this situation, I wouldn't be here because I knew those signs were there, but I choose to see, okay, well, let me see if I can just ignore it and just see, okay, maybe if it will change. And sometimes we want to give people the benefit of the doubt to change, but it don't happen like that.
Yeah.
Some people are not going to change. Some people will. Some people don't.
I've seen family members, and I'm not even going to say like a specific because I'm not putting nobody business out there. But I have seen somebody like really feel like somebody going to change, and they keep going back and they keep going back. And it just get worse and worse and worse. And that's why I had vowed to myself, like, if he ever did this, it would be like no way. Like I would have to vow to myself that if this ever happened, it could never be us. It could never be holding your children from you. Like, no, it's hard depending on like the situation, but no, I couldn't see him because he a good dad. Like he is a good dad, but it's just like it's a scare. I don't know. You never know what somebody minded after this. So do I blame her? No. But do I feel like people should have a second chance in life? Yeah.
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 Yeah. People definitely should have a second chance in life. It's what you do with it. I mean, because people are going to give you a chance in life. You know what I'm saying? It depends on what you're going to do with it. There's people in prison that's getting out, that's getting released. 9 times out of 10, if that guy, he or she apply themselves, they can get the job. It's just about, you're going to stay consistent, or you're going to go to work, or you're going to learn how to control your attitude, you know. And I go through it every day when I'm being challenged, especially working a 9 to 5 or, you know,
do you
the
feel
case
like
may be.
At your workplace, at your work, this is the last question and we're going to wrap it up. Do you feel like at your workplace that they looked at your background and you being judged?
Yeah, of course, especially when you work around women. Most of them women I work around, you know, so yeah, of course they're gonna look at that because it's like, you know, this guy, listen, he might get angry, he might throw something, or he might. That's why I said it's gonna always be in the back of people's head. Even the people watching this, they're gonna still look at it like, this guy, you know, it's gonna be there. But that's me putting myself through it and knowing, okay, well, I actually messed up in life.
Do you feel like
I gotta take the accountability? I messed up in life. I ain't gonna be able to change people's perception of me.
Yeah.
But I can change my actions, and I can change my ways, and I could be a better person for society, and that's what matters.
It's way better. So, anything you'd like to add before we close our segment?
Do you like this relationship better than the relationship when we first started?
Oh yeah, I love it. I love it. I feel like I love it. I'm not even gonna lie to you. It's just like, I don't know, watching somebody you with change, and then you change right along with them. Well, you change and they change, and it's like, because we had to learn that we not the people that we dated. That's another thing too. We had a hard time with, because we felt like we was healed until we got into a relationship. You know what I mean? Yeah. So
what have you gained since this newer relationship? Or
100 pounds. Just kidding.
I shouldn't even ask that question.
Got pregnant back to back. 80 pounds one. Some more pounds this one. Now let me stop playing. I gained trust.
Wisdom.
How you gonna answer for me? I gained trust. I gained learning to actually love, not being scared to love. Like, I felt like I was never gonna be myself again with the breakup that I had before Charles. Like, I'm finna. If y'all don't know, I used to rap, so my main thing was MON, money over niggas. Like, period. I was screaming like, I'm never finna fall in love with these niggas. These niggas ain't shit.
Okay,
like,
let's go get that.
These niggas ain't shit. I'm like, family first. Family first. I'm not gonna fuck with no nigga. Like, and then I met Charles and it was like, I just turned into this irritating love bug. Like, it's so not explained. Like, I just turned into like, give me hug, give me kiss, give me love. Like, and I didn't used to be like that. I felt like, I don't know, Cupid hit me. Let me stop playing. That dang line did. Oh, just kidding.
Said Cuban, you be like, we was Krishan and Blueface in this movie.
No, oh no. Hell no.
That's the only Cupid I know.
Nah. Wait, what the Cupid from Krishan and Blueface? What's that?
He got the song when he's talking about Cubic or some shit. I don't know. It just sounds cool to say.
Krishan and Blueface is crazy. Never that. Never gave that. Never will get that. But what do you feel like you gained in this relationship? Like, dude, wait, let me ask you something. Stop it. No, wait though. But do
Patience.
Is this the? And you could be totally honest. Like, I don't care. Is this the best relationship you ever been in?
Yeah.
Without a doubt.
Yeah, because I was willing to improve myself. I think in the past relationships, I didn't really care. I wasn't really listening. I really didn't care for nothing. I was just on a ride. You know, in this relationship, I wanted the work and I wanted the best and I wanted to get the best out of you. So I gave you my best. So that's what I did. And I was willing to make changes and I was willing to make adjustments. And I also didn't care about failure, you know. And I also was willing to give up some of my friends, some of my peers that I associated with. Now that since I've been in this happily committed relationship and I've been focused and giving the energy, I don't have energy to give everybody else.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't have energy to give everybody else. I don't have the time. I don't have the effort. I don't have it no more because I'm at home trying to figure out how to be better in, you know, raising my kids. I'm going through fatherhood. She's going through motherhood. So I really don't have the time for wasted time.
Yeah.
Or wasted people. I feel like most of my peers that was in my life was here to just temporary, or they was just here to waste my time. A lot of people don't call me and hit me up, and a lot of people
especially since you don't smoke
me.
Anything no more.
A lot of people just can't be around me because, like you said, I don't smoke no more. I don't do this and that, but it's because they not going where I'm going. I feel like those friends or those old peers was like clothes that I outgrew. I can't fit them anymore.
Yeah. Well, and it's the same thing here. Like it's like I used to be that person that everybody ran to, or I was never at home. I told him that like it was new stuff I was learning about my apartment 3 years in. 4 years in, once we met, like, wait, I'm like, the heat do this? Like, I'm like, because I never used to be at home. I used to either be at my cousin's house, at everybody's house, at everybody else's business. Not gonna lie to you, messy a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, it just used to be in everybody's way. And it's like, once I got pregnant, everybody cleared out like, oh, she pregnant now? She can't drink? She can't smoke? She can't straight West Coast? Fuck that girl. Like, they like, nope. So I'm like, I knew what to expect this pregnancy. I didn't really jump back into nothing after I had Kobe. Like, I tried to go back smoking. I got paranoid, couldn't do it. But that's just what it is. When you get into a serious relationship, everybody gonna feel like either they not gonna like your partner, especially if you're a people pleaser. And you get to the point where you get to, especially if you're a people pleaser, and you get to the point where you're not pleasing nobody no more. You focusing on yourself, and then that frontal lobe is coming off of your brain. It's like, I'm not running to the store.
Yeah, you know what I learned to kind of add on to what she's saying, the similar or what she's saying is that toxic people gonna hang with toxic people.
Yeah.
Productive people gonna be with productive people. So, and right now, the situation of how I feel and what I see, especially being active or maybe like Facebook and stuff like that, I just feel like all the toxic people is in one group.
Yeah.
Speaking down on people that's being productive.
Yeah.
Not just myself or her, but anybody out there that's being productive. I feel like it's actually these toxic people that actually got the time. to not focus on themselves, but they actually got the time to focus on everybody else and to bring them down, to put them down.
Yeah.
We had that situation.
I can actually talk about that on here because I don't care. People wouldn't laugh about me. So, I mean,
and lied.
Yeah, and lied on top of that. I had felt like this is another thing with verbal abuse. Your parents can be your verbal abuser first.
Yeah,
like if it's not even telling you pretty, or if you're a dad, I want to say that. And I love the way Charles talked to his daughter a lot. Like, you pretty, like, you know, you not ugly, you not no ugly girl. You don't say, you know what I mean? Like, he said that because they look just alike. They got the same face. I love me some Monica, but my dad was kind of like, my dad and a couple of siblings was kind of like my first bullies with the fat jokes, the fat jokes, the appearance jokes, how it was shaped jokes, you know, stuff like that. So I had got once I graduated and stuff like that. My dad was able to tell me certain stuff, like, you know, he was like verbally abusive, like whether it was like coming down on my weight, or if I feel so pretty, I walk out the bathroom in a little crop top or something like that. You need to cover your rose, you know, stuff like that. Your parents can be your first verbal abuser.
Kind of hard.
That's
kind of weird.
No, it's like, once me and Charles got into a good headspace, once again, it was my fault for putting my dad in my business, but everything that he said on the live was nothing that I told him. But he went live. I just woke up one morning and it was a live. If you know my dad, very narcissistic. It was a live, and he lied and said that he was a crackhead. I might put a clip in here for y'all. He lied and said he was a crackhead. He lied and said I steal from his house, when literally it hurt my heart so much, because that's what made me break out of people pleasing, because I lost 2 jobs. When he got a hole in his leg, I was going out there cleaning up his whole entire apartment. And then when I would clean up this is how abuse worked. I would clean up his apartment. I'd be there a couple of days, deep clean the whole entire apartment. Then he ready to put me out to bring a prostitute in. You see what I'm saying? Like, I think it's time for you to go home. I get some weed, you go home. Like, dang, like I can't stay. I just cleaned up this luxury, like, because I wasn't never at home. I had my own apartment. Or it was things like, if he can't get his way, then he gonna tell so many lies on you that it don't make no sense. Like, you gonna come hear some shit that you ain't never heard before.
Sabotage.
Yeah, so it's like, you gotta learn that even if it's your parents, you can't accept no kind of abuse. No kind. And one thing I can say about my mama is, like, I'm not gonna say she was good at telling us she was pretty, but she always used to say, like, ain't nothing ugly come out of me. You know what I mean? Or something like that. Or, you know, even if she did, like, I don't remember mama whooping me that much. You see what I'm saying? Like, or I probably get popped on the head or something like that, but I don't really remember as much as my siblings do with getting hit and stuff like that. Maybe I just want a bad seed. So
yeah, that's possible. It's possible to have four bad seeds and one good one.
She got 3. I said she got 4 kids. So.
You know what I'm doing.
But yeah, so it started first in the household, but then it will start with my dad being verbally abusive too. So it's different ways that people react to abuse, and this is statistically. Either if you're being abused, you go to an abuser. But if you're being abused too, you try your hard to stray away from it. And some people endure verbal abuse stuff from their parents so long they never get married, they never get with somebody, they never feel like they're enough, but you definitely enough.
And I feel like it's going to challenge me even more. I got boys. I got 4 boys. So when I get older, let's say if they have a dispute about a video game.
Yeah.
Okay. Y'all apologize to each other. Y'all go your own way. Or I take the game and none of y'all play.
Yeah.
Versus y'all can fight for it, or y'all be tough and stuff like that. See, in my household, my mother and my father allowed that type of behavior because they wanted everybody else to control their household. So it was like, oh, well, this ain't going right. Y'all can just fight for it. Or y'all fight for it. So now we fighting for it. Everybody's saying, well, you let her fight another day. Now I love Pops.
Yeah.
From Friday. I'm talking about Pops Weatherspoon from Friday. I love Pops. But I feel like the only way we could break that generational curse is that
change it.
Nobody fight for it.
Yeah.
Because fighting comes with pride. Don't nobody losing. And you also hurting somebody.
Yeah.
And you harming somebody.
And
let's not fight about it. If us men can't come to agreement to disagree, we don't need to be around each other.
And this,
We need to go our own way
yeah,
and figure something else out. It have to be some type of
on
structure,
boundary. Yep.
a boundary structure. It have to be something
And-
than just okay. We can fight for it to see who's the toughest, because the toughest even get knocked off for it. Even the toughest have his bad day. It's gonna always be somebody tougher than you.
And it was cut off, and it was, you got to cut that off as toddlers, even if they fighting over a toy. You know what I mean? Hug it out. No, don't do that. Like,
Yeah,
but
or
see,
y'all both getting in trouble. This one,
we had people in our household where they would come around and they would start the stuff, and then they'd be able to leave. You see what I'm saying? Or like, I always had that heart where I didn't want to hurt my siblings. Like, you see what I'm saying? Like, sometimes I would just take the punches. Like, I could go to school, I could fight. I could go down the street, I could fight. I could do, but I just always had the heart of not wanting to fight my siblings. So yeah, I'm gonna let you hit me. I'm gonna get mad. I'm gonna cry. I'm gonna close the door and sit against it so we don't have to fight. But it's just like,
ain't nobody punching back.
I don't want to be nobody punching bag. But at the same time, it was like I always had that heart, and I want my babies to have that heart. Like, that's how people be. That's how you learn how to fight. You fight your siblings. No, take their ass to a gym. Let them box. Like, you know what I mean? You don't. That's not the way you do it. Like, put them in the household. Put them. Let's play Jerry Springer. That's what used to go in our house. Let's play Jerry Springer. Bring them out now. Smack on each other and fight. Like, no. You call me sensitive. You call me a punk. You call me. As long as I know can't no hold with me in the street. Period.
Listen, it's the clip. You fight with these. You fight. People fight with these. That's what they want to do. No, you fight with this.
Yeah.
Never with these. These can get you in trouble.
Yeah.
Whether if it's a gun or you harm me, you can go out there and beat up somebody. That's what he's talking about, domestic.
Yeah.
Go out there and beat up somebody, or batter somebody. You fight with this. You fight with your mind, and that's what I want to tell my kids. You fight with your mind, and that's what I want to raise, and that's what I want to speak, and that's what I want to preach. And I got to practice what I preach. So every day when I'm out there in the field, I'm fighting. No, I'm not fighting with even this. Your lips, your mouth.
Mm-hmm.
Some people try to fight, jab, go back and forth. That can even get you killed.
Yep.
That's worse than, like you say, that's worse
Verbal.
than verbal. Verbal is worse than physical sometimes,
Because
because you
words
can say
cut
something.
deep. Right. I bet anybody
Right.
under this video, and I'm gonna clip this. Anybody under this video, if you grew up in a toxic household, what's the first sign of bullying that you ever had? What's the first thing that somebody ever did to you, like, that made you, you know what I mean? Like,
Yep, and we're gonna
feel
leave it
bad
at
and
that.
terrible about yourself. I bet you can remember. I bet it cut
Leave it
deep.
at that. Peace out. Love y'all.